I'm Charlie Love and welcome to this Chrome Enterprise tutorial with AppsEvents and Acer. So today I'm going to show you something really useful for if you're a Chrome admin, if you're looking at deploying extensions, and you've also got that responsibility around security for your organization. And today we're going to look at a really important thing that I think is often kind of just forgotten about in some of the work that we do is what's inside the Chrome extensions that you're deploying, and how do you know that they're secure, they're safe, they're well managed, they're well operated, and that they're not going to compromise your users or the data within your organization. So we're going to have a really close look at what's inside a Chrome extension, and I'm going to show you a great tool created by the fab people at Duo Labs for looking inside a Chrome extension and shortcutting all the work you'd have to do normally as an admin to go in and unpack the extension and see inside it and see what's happening. So it's a great tool that they've created, and we're going to have a look at that in just 2 seconds. So really, when we're thinking about Chrome extensions, there's a bit of effort that you used to traditionally have to go into looking inside a Chrome extension. And today I'm going to show you how you can bypass all that and use this great tool from Duo Labs. Ideally, you need to consider a whole range of different risks when you look at Chrome extensions, because like with any piece of software, there are particular vulnerabilities that can happen with it and particular issues that can go on with it. So if you think about permissions, remember Chrome applications all have a level of permission, and is your Chrome extension accessing things that maybe it doesn't need to do? You also want to check that it's not connecting to any kind of external service that you don't really want to have data going out to. It's not talking to some external service, pinging it for more information or for more, maybe more code or whatever. And then you want, very important, and this is one that I come across all the time. It's so frequent when I look at Chrome extensions, is that it's not using any current vulnerable libraries. So these are the JavaScript libraries, things like jQuery. Is it using the most up-to-date things? Is it using libraries that aren't compromised, that don't have existing security alerts on them? Really important one, that. And some great extensions that people have been using like recently, and we'll have a look at some of those, they're still using some of these vulnerable legacy JavaScript libraries. So we've really got to watch out for that. It's a real one to take care of. And a message to developers, you got to patch your Chrome extensions. Please go ahead and do that. And also we want to make sure there's not externally hosted JavaScripts. And really useful things just to look out for is that there's, you're getting extensions that have got lots of 4 or 5 star reviews. It's a good barometer, good indicator. Absolute musts, I think, are privacy policy and developer information is listed in the web store. So there's a statement about privacy, and you know which reputable developer is making that particular product. If it's got no information, then that already is a red flag to me. So that's something you're really got to watch out for. And also, many developers will have multiple extensions, and the permissions that are available might be less so for some of their other extensions that do the same thing. You often find that developers will have multiples applications that are deployed, often do the very similar things. So it's another one to look out for and just to think about and have a look at. So let's have a little look. So the application that I want to take you to look at today, which is a great tool. It's developed by these guys at Duo Labs who kind of look at cloud security, and they're a great company for building this particular application. It's in beta right now, and it's this CR Excavator, and it lets you take that deep dive and look inside your Chrome extensions to check for security. The way that you can use it is that you can either search for something that's already been scanned, or you can go to the Chrome Web Store, and I'm just on the Chrome Web Store here. I'm just going to randomly take an application. I'm not going to pick one out. I'm just going to kind of randomly take one. And so what I'm going to do is here's this custom cursor. Let's just click on that, right? Okay, so, but if I wanted to go here now and have a look at it, if I take the identity for that application from here, so I can just copy it here for custom cursors, just copy the the app ID, which is the end part of this string here in the URL. I can put that, I can go and take that and paste that into the excavator, and then I can submit that for scanning. So I'll go ahead and I'll go and do a scan for us of that particular extension. And, we can get lots of information. I mean, this is, there's some web store reviews for this. It's what's that? 4.6 out of 5 it's getting rated at. But let's have a little deep dive into what's inside this extension. So we'll have a little look. So in terms of this overview and the security, in terms of look at the risk, it's saying it's got a 200 scale, 200 points in the vulnerability. The security policy, that's pretty high in terms of this, and the optional permissions as well. So over all these things, it's getting a total risk score of 654. That's a pretty high risk score, but you can also see how that risk score changes over time. So as the app, if an application's gone and added permissions or become more risky over time, you'll see it, and you'll see that risk score elevating as we go through on this particular tool. So if I scroll down here, so here's a few things you need to be aware of. This custom cursors for Chrome can see everything. Your extension has access to run on all sites and schemes. That's a very, very risky behavior because it can see everything, run everywhere. It's got elevated privileges on your tabs. That's something to be concerned about. And it has access to storage as well, maybe less so. The script itself can run there, and then that's generally speaking okay. There's no data yet about any threats around it. External communications, well, these are all endpoints within the application. So these are the cursors and such that it's accessing. It's going out to this particular website. That one's okay. YouTube no cookies, okay. So it's got some links and linking out to YouTube and Vimeo. Okay. Now, in terms of vulnerabilities, this is what I was speaking about in terms of jQuery and similar. Look how many jQuery libraries that it uses that have really old, like legacy. This is like 2015 security report, still not removed. They're still using this legacy version of jQuery with all these security notifications in it. Here's one 2019. So when you look at this, if you're an enterprise and you look at, these are all vulnerabilities that you're making yourself open to potentially by deploying an insecure script, an insecure extension rather. So you've got to be really careful to review these and look at them. And then when we look down at related extensions, well, these are all cute cursors, these are all cursor libraries, all lots of similar things. And maybe one of them might have less, slightly better permissions, perhaps. But I'm not so sure. But this extension, which is inherently insecure, 6 million users. So that's something, if you've got an enterprise, this is something that I would be concerned about because the potential is a potential vulnerability. In terms of a security review for this app, this is definitely not something that I would be rolling out. So let's go and have a little look at something else that maybe is a bit more secure. So I'm going to go back to my web store and I'm going to go and choose something pretty reputable that I think many of us are now using, is Moat. So let's have a little Moat. Let's get the extension ID from there. And let's go and have a look at that. I'm hoping I grabbed the right one for Moat. There we go. Okay, so you can already see that the security, the security rating for this app is way down on the 600 plus that we saw earlier. But let's just review it and have a little look. So you can see that over time, we've had a dip in terms of the risks over time. Now, the way that Moat works, it's a voice application, so it needs to work everywhere. That last one we looked at was also a cursor application, so it wanted this to work everywhere. So Moat will work on matches URLs that uses a permitted scheme. So it matches your URLs. It's got permissions according to the active tab specification. Okay, storage, it needs the storage to work, and it's you have access to the Chrome Enterprise Devices attribute. So that means you can deploy it and so on. So there's no risk there, as you can see. It's just talking to itself, so that's fine. And we looked at the report for that, so that's fine. In terms of external communications, it goes to this external JavaScript. So that's something you'd want, as an admin, you'd probably want just to keep an eye on. Because this is a really reputable company, you want to just keep an eye on that. That's an external JavaScript, so that's something that you do need to watch in terms of it going forward. And these are some of the related extensions that might be related to that for some reason from the store. So in terms of this, you'll notice that what it didn't come up with are any vulnerable JavaScript libraries, because Moat doesn't have any vulnerabilities in terms of JavaScript, which is absolutely brilliant. That's the way you want extensions to be created, really securely, only with the permissions that they need to access the applications, and with external connections that they need for operations, but you need to be aware of what they are. So I would say that's a pretty secure, it's a pretty good score in terms of an application, and particularly because it doesn't have those vulnerabilities. The only issues in terms of this is that it's going to view data on classroom.google.com, and it's going to look at data on docs.google.com. To me, that's what's needed for this application to run. So that's just a little security review of Moat. So this CRX excavator tool, I really recommend it to you. I think it's fabulous. It now saves me so much time and effort. You can just go jump straight in there and review the Chrome extensions, see what they're doing, see what the permissions are. Really great tool. Thank you very much, the guys at GeoLabs. You guys are awesome. Totally rock with this one. Really, really glad of that. You've produced this for us, admins. It's a great one to see. And I'm Charlie Love. And yeah, thanks for watching this Chrome Enterprise tutorial from AppsEvents and Acer.